Section 2. The Soul. Nearly everyone who hears or uses the word soul fancies that he knows what it means. But he cannot define it or explain it because he does not know what the soul is, or what it does or does not do. As to the meaning of soul, no religion makes any clear statement of what it is. Yet if it were not for that unknown and undescribed something, there would be no reason or excuse for a religion. The something called the soul was not suddenly spoken into being, nor was it created in any other way. The soul is not intelligent, but it is indispensable to the human. It is a unit of nature matter, and it is the result of a long course of progression which will be properly explained in later pages. For the moment, it will be enough to say that the processing of a unit of nature matter results in its being finally the breath form of a physical body. The breath form, as already stated in the introductory chapter, is the living soul of the body. The form aspect of the breath form is the progressed nature unit referred to above, and is the passive or formative aspect of the breath form. The active aspect of the breath form is the breath. This breath aspect is the life of the form and the builder of the body to be. Originally the form, the soul, was perfect. It was a balanced nature unit in a perfect, immortal physical body in and of the nature realm of permanence. Nothing in nature could deform that perfect form. Its perfect body was inhabited and operated by the doer part of an immortal triune self. That doer was feeling and desire. It had charge of the breath form, and it alone could change the form aspect of the breath form. Only the doer could change that perfect physical body. That its body is now human, mortal, and imperfect is the result of the doer's action. The doers, which are now in the imperfect bodies of men and women on this earth, once made a fatal mistake. In passing through the necessary trial test of bringing feeling and desire into balanced union, they allowed themselves to succumb to the spell cast by the natural functioning of the body-mind through the senses. As feeling and desire, those doers lost their balance, their self-control, that is, control of their feeling and desire minds, and of the body-mind by which they had maintained their body of units in balance. Control passed to the body-mind of each of these doers, and the doers thereby fell under the illusion of the senses, and thereafter thought only in the terms of the phenomena of time, of birth and death. All doers now in human bodies are among those who made that mistake. Those who did not make that mistake, those who maintained their balance, their self-control, who controlled the body-mind by their feeling and desire minds, passed the test and qualified as high officers of nature. They have their parts in the government in the realm of permanence, and of this human world of change. Figure Roman 5, B, A. This figure is on page 872. Once again, the figure shows the 6 spheres, labeled from smallest to largest: the human physical world, permanent physical world or realm of permanence, the form being in the form world, the life being in the life world, and the light being of the triune self in the light world. It states, the perfect sexless physical body for the knower, the thinker, and the doer of the triune self complete is in the realm of permanence. The text reads, the triune self complete, its light being in the light world, its life being in the life world, its form being in the form world. The perfect physical body for these 3 beings in the realm of permanence. The physical world may be considered from 2 viewpoints. 1, as the realm of permanence, where the doers progress that have passed the trial test of bringing their feeling and desire into balanced union, and 2. The temporal human physical world, figure 5b, where the doers that fail in that test continue to re-exist until they regenerate their bodies and restore them to the realm of permanence. The physical bodies of the triune selves complete are in the realm of permanence. Through their perfect sexless physical bodies, these triune selves govern the four worlds, and through the triune selves of human beings, they govern the temporal human world and administrate the destinies of nations, as the individuals of those nations determine by their thoughts and acts. Figure 5b on page 871 shows the spheres labelled from smallest to largest: physical atmosphere of the human physical world, life world, light world, and these are also labelled the doer in the form world, which is psychic, the thinker in life world, which is mental, the knower in light world, which is noetic, and noetic, mental, and psychic are grouped together, atmospheres of the triune self. The text reads, "The triune self of the human and its three parts, the knower, the thinker, and the doer. The three atmospheres of the triune self, and the atmospheres of the human." This figure also serves to indicate the four worlds, through which are the triune self and the doer in the body. The noetic, mental, and psychic atmospheres of the human are those portions of the atmospheres of the triune self that reach into the physical atmosphere of the human. The physical atmosphere of the human is made up of emanations from the fourfold physical body, which extend from a few inches to a considerable distance. Figure 3. This figure is on page 868 and is entitled "The Fourfold Physical Human Body." The symbol shows an image of a human body surrounded by varying degrees of density of matter, and the text reads, "This symbol indicates the visible, solid body from which extend emanations, consisting of invisible particles which radiate from the solid structures of the digestive, circulatory, respiratory, and generative systems within the body. They extend from a few inches to a considerable distance and make up the physical atmosphere. The emanations and radiations from the circulatory, the respiratory, and the generative systems are here spoken of as the fluid, the airy, and the radiant inner bodies or masses. These, together with the solid body, make up the fourfold physical body of man." We now return to the text on page 30. Every human body that comes into this world is fashioned in its mother according to the form, the soul, which enters her body through her breath and causes the conception of the body which is to be fashioned. At birth, the physical life breath of the breath form enters the infant body, and in the heart it unites with the form aspect, and then is the breath form. Thereupon, the breath form performs its functions as the living soul of the body. The form is, and throughout that lifetime it will be, the type or pattern according to which the living breath of the breath form will build out into a visible structure the units of nature matter, solid, fluid, airy, and radiant, of which that changing body is composed. When the doer separates from the body at death, the breath form leaves with it. The nature units of which the body is composed return to the four states or elements to which they belong. The form aspect of the breath form, that is, the soul, accompanying the doer portion that had been in the body, passes through the various after-death states, figure Roman 5d, and according to the doer's destiny, it will in due time be again the form which will be the cause of the conception and the form for the building up of another human body, another nature machine, in which the re-existing doer will resume its work in the world and live out that portion of its destiny which it had made by its thinking. Figure 5d is on page 874. The figure is entitled A Re-existing Doer Portion and Its States After Death, and the text reads as follows. The large circle symbolizes the psychic atmosphere of the doer. From the center to the circumference, the 12 lines enclose sections which represent the stages of the symbolical roadway through which each doer portion, in its turn, passes successively after death, from its life on earth to its next re-existence. The circle of the lowest section represents the physical life on earth. The opposite and highest circle represents the heaven period of happiness. The 5 circles on the right represent the after-death stages through which the doer portion passes to prepare it for its period of happiness. The 5 circles on the left represent the stages through which each doer portion in its turn passes on its return journey for its re-existence in the lowest circle as an appearance on the earth stage of physical life. The lowest line on the left separating the circles is the line or gate of birth. At the moment of birth, the breath of the breath form enters with the first gasp, and the breath unites with its form in the heart. The lowest line on the right separating the circles is the line or gate of death. The half-circle within that section represents the length or span of the doer's inner life and thoughts in its rise from birth to its fullness and decline and death of the body. The outer part of the circle represents what is said and done to outside nature as the expression of its inner thoughts. Likewise, each of the circles signifies what the doer goes through in itself and its effects on the stage through which it passes. The figure consists of circles surrounding a large circle, and starting at the birth line, they read, Third 3 months, form of human body of sex section. Second 3 months, placental life section. First 3 months of intrauterine life, embryonic life section. Thought of life section. Peaceful rest section. Composite happiness section. Purified breath form section. Purification of breath form section. Separation from lower thought section. Judgment, hell. Separation from gross desires section. After death, dream of life section. And finally, life of physical body section. This section is separated from the others, entitled span of life, by the birth line and the death line. The text continues. The breath form, the living soul, and the 12 stages after death. First stage. The breath form is with the doer portion. Second stage. The breath form is separated from the doer portion during the separation of the desires. Third stage. And during the separation of the thoughts. Fourth stage. Purification of the breath form. Fifth stage. The breath form is purified. Sixth stage. The breath form is united with the doer portion, which is in its heaven. Seventh stage. The form of the breath form is inert. Eighth stage. Form and breath are summoned for activity. Ninth stage. The form enters the mother of the doer portion next in line for re-existence. The breath is in the psychic atmosphere of that doer portion. embryonic period. 10th stage, placental life begins, fetal period. 11th stage, fetal period continued, human body is made ready for birth. 12th stage, the breath enters through the infant's lungs and unites with its form in the heart, being the breath form at the moment of birth and until the death of the body. We now return to the text on page 30. From these statements, it will be seen that the vague and indeterminate, equivocal and bewildering term soul alludes to that very important elemental entity, the breath form, a nature unit which is conscious as its function, in the most advanced degree in nature, figure 2H, which has already been referred to. To briefly restate at this point certain facts made evident in the introduction. The dua is feeling and desire in the body. Feeling, though generally believed to be a fifth sense, as touch, is not a sense. It is not of nature. Feeling is the passive side or aspect of the dua. Desire is the active side. Feeling and desire in the body are not two or separate. They blend into each other and are always functioning together, an inseparable twain, the opposites in the dua. One dominates the other and had determined the sex of the body. That which feels and desires and thinks in the human body, that which experiences and does the things that are done in the world, is the dua. That dua in the body, however, is only one of 12 portions of the entire dua. These 12 portions are inseparable, but each portion re-exists separately. The 12 re-exist successively, one after another, one at a time, in life after life.